talking about Jay. Proximity to Diddy. You don't think he knew anything? He's seemingly around Diddy a lot.
No, that was a real suburb question.
I know, right? Proximity.
And the proximity.
Proximity. That's the SAT hit parade word.
A rivalry that started with diss tracks in 1999 has exploded into something far more dangerous. Secret alliances, federal investigations, and decades of buried secrets are colliding, and 50 Cent is at the center. What he knows about Jay-Z could change hip-hop forever, but first, he has to survive first. The war and the battle for hip-hop's soul. The ongoing tension is entirely one-sided, with 50 Cent aggressively trolling Jay-Z on social media, especially in early to mid-December 2025. And with Daddy's documentary, the tension has only gotten worse because 50 Cent isn't backing down. The contrast in their approaches reflected their different positions in the industry and their different understandings of how power operates in the digital age. 50 Cent had embraced social media early, recognizing its potential to bypass traditional gatekeepers and speak directly to audiences. He understood that in the attention economy, engagement was currency, and controversy was the most efficient way to generate engagement. Jay-Z, by contrast, maintained a more traditional celebrity posture, speaking rarely and only through official channels, treating his mystique as an asset to be protected rather than spent. In the era of Instagram and TikTok, 50's approach was proving more effective at shaping public perception, allowing him to control narratives that Jay-Z's silence left open for others to fill. The social media campaign employed multiple tactics. 50 Cent shared offensive caricatures and AI deepfake videos mocking Jay-Z. He posted images, liked strategic comments, and maintained a steady drumbeat of implications and insinuations. Each post generated headlines, each headline generated engagement, and each engagement cycle reinforced 50 Cent's position as the narrator of hip-hop's biggest ongoing story. 50 liked comments suggesting Jay-Z could be next after Diddy, sparking rumors of an expose documentary. The speculation alone was damaging. Even without a documentary being produced, the possibility of one kept Jay-Z's potential vulnerabilities in public consciousness. Old rivals entered the fray, adding layers of complexity to an already complicated situation. Speculation arose of Ja Rule teaming up with Jay-Z Rock Nation against 50, prompted by Instagram follows and comments. Ja Rule had called 50 a cancer to the culture, suggesting the Diddy documentary and Jay-Z trolling had gone too far and damaged hip-hop's reputation in ways that would take years to repair. 50 dismissed it, laughing, "F them all, my momentum make them all get together, LOL," and proclaimed he's not afraid of Jay-Z or Ja Rule. The response was quintessential 50 Cent, dismissive, confident, and designed to minimize his opponents while maximizing his own perceived power. The idea that his enemies were uniting against him only validated his sense of his own importance in the industry.
Look, when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those trophies came rolling in, buddy.
However, in other interviews, 50 downplayed real hatred. "It's just competitive stuff. I hope things are all right for him internally," referencing family impacts from any drama. The comment was surprisingly measured, suggesting that beneath the trolling, 50 understood the human stakes involved, that real families with real children were being affected by allegations and innuendo, regardless of their truth or falsehood. Jay-Z's team described their relationship with Diddy as purely professional, with no closer association. This distancing effort attempted to break the psychological link between the convicted mogul and the one still fighting to protect his reputation, but decades of photos and public appearances made such distancing difficult. The evidence of their connection was scattered across the internet for anyone to find and share. Jay-Z's legal history shows a pattern of aggressive defense and eventual victory. In 1999, Jay-Z was charged with stabbing producer Lance Rivera at a NYC nightclub, pleading guilty to a misdemeanor in 2001 and receiving 3 years probation. The incident demonstrated both his capacity for confrontation and his ability to emerge from legal trouble with minimal consequences. The Big Pimpin' copyright lawsuit was dismissed in October 2015 when a judge ruled the plaintiff lacked standing, with the Ninth Circuit affirming the win in 2018. The victory demonstrated his ability to outlast opponents in legal warfare through superior resources and representation. The final federal paternity case was dropped with prejudice in 2025, ending during a decade-plus battle. But the dismissal of legal claims did not end public discussion, especially with 50 Cent constantly amplifying the narrative and keeping questions alive in the public consciousness. This remained the fundamental truth underlying all the speculation. Being friends with someone who committed crimes is not itself a crime. When asked why he kept giving hints about Jay-Z and the immoral activities of other industry heavyweights, he had this to say.
They think all celebrities are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Right, and when you see, if I wasn't saying anything, guess what? You could safely say that a person on the outskirts that is not involved in hip-hop culture could think that everybody in hip-hop culture is with that.
Legal vindication in courtrooms does not automatically translate to vindication in public opinion, but in the court of public opinion, guilt by association proved powerful, especially when amplified by someone with 50 Cent's platform, persistence, and willingness to push boundaries that others wouldn't dare approach. The rivalry that began in 1999 with lyrical shots has evolved into something far more complex and consequential. It now encompasses business competition, legal allegations, paternity claims, and the fallout from Diddy's conviction. The two men who once dissed each other on wax now fight across courtrooms and social media platforms, with 50 Cent perpetually on offense and Jay-Z perpetually in defense mode. What makes this conflict so fascinating is how it reflects broader changes in hip-hop and American culture. The genre that once celebrated street credibility is now dominated by corporate interests and carefully managed images. But in the modern era, social media warfare can be just as devastating as any other kind. Reputations can be destroyed by memes and insinuations without a single fact being proven. Jay-Z built his empire on image as much as talent. The image of the smart hustler, the successful businessman, the devoted family man who represented what hip-hop could become when combined with intelligence and discipline. That image is now under sustained assault, and his strategy of silence leaves others to define his narrative in ways he may not be able to control. What happens next remains deeply uncertain, and that uncertainty itself is a form of ongoing damage. Will Jay-Z break his silence and finally address the accusations head-on? Will 50 Cent produce the rumored expose documentary that many believe is already in production? Will new allegations emerge from Diddy's case that implicate other industry figures? The only certainty is that the conflict continues, with each day bringing new posts, new implications, and new damage to reputations built over decades of careful image management. The battle for hip-hop's soul continues, fought not with microphones, but with Instagram posts and legal filings. The generation that built hip-hop into a billion-dollar industry is now tearing at each other in public, exposing secrets long kept hidden and raising questions that may never be fully answered. Whatever the truth of the various allegations, the industry will never look the same again. The era of untouchable moguls protected by wealth and influence may be coming to an end, replaced by a new reality where accountability is demanded of even the most powerful figures. For 50 Cent, the current moment represents validation of everything he has been saying for years. His warnings about Diddy proved devastatingly accurate. His jabs at Jay-Z's carefully constructed image are landing with increasing force. His documentary was a massive commercial and cultural success. His enemies appear to be uniting against him, which only proves his importance in the current landscape. Whether his campaign against Jay-Z will achieve similar results remains to be seen, but he shows absolutely no signs of stopping or even slowing down. As 2025 draws to a close, the hip-hop world watches and waits with bated breath. New documents may emerge from Diddy's case, new lawsuits may be filed from unexpected directions, new revelations may surface from sources unknown, former associates, leaked documents, or investigative journalists following the trail of breadcrumbs that both men have left over decades. The only guarantee is that the story is far from over, and that the men at its center, Jay-Z and 50 Cent, will continue their decades-long conflict until one of them is finally vindicated or destroyed. The stakes have never been higher for either man, and neither can afford to lose this battle. The outcome will shape not just their legacies, but the future of hip-hop itself. The birth of a feud and the bullets that changed everything. The year was 1999, and the hip-hop landscape was dominated by established players who had carved out their territories through years of grinding and building street credibility into mainstream success. Into this world stepped a young Curtis Jackson, a Queens-born rapper with a sharp tongue and an even sharper survival instinct, who had just released what would become one of the most audacious tracks in hip-hop history. The song was called How to Rob, a humorous fantasy about robbing every major figure in rap, from established legends legends to rising stars. The track was bold, irreverent, and designed to put 50 Cent's name on the map through sheer provocation. Among the targets was Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z, who had already established himself as one of New York's most formidable lyricists and business minds. Jay-Z was not merely a rapper, he was a mogul in the making, someone who understood that hip-hop was a business first and an art form second. His Rockefeller Records empire was growing, his album sales were impressive, and his reputation as a lyrical threat was well documented. The specific bars took aim at Jay-Z's success, referencing his Bentley and his millions, putting a target on the established star's back, while 50 Cent was still struggling to break through the industry's gates. Jay-Z responded at Hot 97's Summer Jam, debuting "It's Hot, Some Like It Hot" with a direct response. The rebuttal was sharp and dismissive, questioning what 50 Cent even amounted to in the grand scheme of the industry. This exchange set the foundation for one of hip-hop's longest-running rivalries, establishing a pattern of competitive tension that would ebb and flow for more than 2 decades. The dynamic between the two artists represented something fundamental about the hip-hop industry, the constant struggle between established power and hungry challengers. Jay-Z was already building his empire, while 50 Cent was throwing verbal grenades to get noticed. Neither could have predicted how their relationship would evolve, how the industry would change around them, or how allegations from multiple fronts would eventually intersect their paths in ways that would make headlines across the globe. The seeds of a conflict that would span more than 2 decades had been planted in the soil of 1990s New York hip-hop, watered by ego, ambition, and the ruthless competition that defined the genre. Then came the moment that would transform 50 Cent from a provocative newcomer into a living legend, a moment of violence so extreme that it would have ended most careers and most lives. In 2000, Curtis Jackson was shot 9 times in an incident connected to Queens underworld figures. The shooting was devastating. Bullets struck his face, hands, arms, hips, and legs. One round pierced his cheek, damaging his tongue and jaw, forever altering his speech and giving him the distinctive slur that would become as recognizable as his aggressive delivery. The circumstances surrounding the shooting remained murky, tied to his song Ghetto Quran, which allegedly named names and exposed secrets that powerful people wanted kept hidden. The attack was meant to be fatal. 9 bullets usually are, but Curtis Jackson survived, defying odds that would have crushed most men physically and psychologically. In the hospital, recovering from wounds that would leave permanent scars both visible and invisible, he made a decision that would define his future. He would not retreat into silence and safety. He would return, more dangerous and more determined than before. The shooting forced a cooling period in any direct beef with Jay-Z. 50 Cent rebuilt his career through mixtapes, using the streets to distribute his music when the industry had essentially blackballed him. Columbia Records had dropped him, radio stations had been warned away from his music, and the legitimate pathways to success seemed permanently closed. But the streets remained open, and 50 Cent flooded them with mixtapes that showcased not just his talent, but his mythology, the rapper who had taken 9 bullets and lived to tell about it. Each tape spread like wildfire through urban centers, building a grassroots following that no record label could have manufactured. His near-death experience transformed him into the rapper who survived, the artist who had literally taken bullets and kept going, and his story became inseparable from his music. By 2003, the landscape had shifted dramatically. 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Tryin' had become a massive commercial success, selling nearly 900,000 copies in its first week and establishing him as the hottest rapper in the game. His partnership with Eminem and Dr. Dre had given him the platform and production quality to match his street credibility, creating a perfect storm of commercial appeal and underground authenticity that the industry had rarely seen. Both toured together on the Rock the Mic tour, seemingly putting their conflicts to rest. The dynamic had changed. No longer was it an established star dismissing an upstart. Now it was 2 superstars circling each other, each aware of the other's power and reach, each calculating the costs and benefits of continued conflict versus uneasy alliance. The apparent truce continued through the mid-2000s. In 2007, Jay-Z appeared on the I Get Money Forbes 123 remix with 50 Cent and Diddy, a collaboration that suggested professional respect between former rivals. But beneath the surface, subtle tensions persisted. 50 described their relationship as strictly business. "We don't have those kinds of relationships. We are not necessarily friends." This characterization would prove prophetic as the years passed and new conflicts emerged. The late 2000s and early 2010s saw tensions boil over repeatedly. 50 Cent accused Jay-Z of having a king complex in interviews, suggesting that his rival's success had gone to his head and disconnected him from the culture that had made him. He criticized Jay-Z's album 444 as golf course music, a pointed jab at what he perceived as Jay-Z's transition promotion from street poet to corporate executive. These were not the explosive conflicts of their early days, but rather the steady drip of shade that characterizes long-term rivalries in the entertainment industry. The feud took on new dimensions in 2022, when 50 Cent claimed Jay-Z tried to block him from the Super Bowl halftime show through Roc Nation's NFL partnership, saying Eminem insisted on his inclusion. The allegation painted Jay-Z as someone willing to use his corporate influence to marginalize a rival, suggesting their competition had evolved from lyrical battles to boardroom warfare. If true, it meant that Jay-Z's power now extended far beyond music into the infrastructure of American entertainment itself, and he wasn't afraid to use that power against those he perceived as enemies. The relationship between Jay-Z and Diddy represents another crucial thread in this narrative. Sean Diddy Combs and Jay-Z have had a relationship spanning over 30 years, rooted in the 1990s New York hip-hop scene through mutual ties to the notorious B.I.G., who was signed to Diddy's Bad Boy Records and featured on Jay-Z's debut album Reasonable Doubt in 1996. They frequently worked together, including tracks like Young G's in 1997. Both jointly donated $1 million for Hurricane Katrina relief in 2005 and attended each other's events, including Diddy's famous white parties. This characterization would prove crucial when legal storm clouds gathered around Diddy and questions emerged about who knew what and who participated in what. The asymmetry of their relationship would take on new significance when Diddy's legal troubles exploded into public view. If Jay-Z had always kept Diddy at arm's length despite public appearances suggesting otherwise, what did that say about his knowledge of Diddy's behavior? The foundation had been laid for what would come next. Decades of competition, real and perceived slights, business conflicts, and personal animosity had created a volatile situation waiting for a spark. Allegations, accusations, and the documentary that changed everything. The year 2024 marked a turning point in hip-hop history that few could have anticipated. Sean Diddy Combs, once considered untouchable due to his wealth and influence, faced a cascade of legal troubles that would culminate in federal charges. Diddy's legal issues escalated in 2024-2025, culminating in federal charges for trafficking and racketeering. The mogul, who had defined hip-hop glamour for decades, now faced the possibility of spending his life behind bars. The fall of Diddy represented more than just one man's disgrace. It challenged the very foundations of how the hip-hop industry operated. For years, whispered rumors had circulated about his behavior, but his power and influence had seemingly insulated him from consequences. Now, with federal authorities involved, those protections had evaporated. The question on everyone's mind was simple: if Diddy could fall, who else might be vulnerable? The allegations against Diddy created ripples throughout the entertainment industry. Former associates distanced themselves, business partnerships dissolved, and decades of whispered rumors suddenly became front-page news. Companies that had proudly displayed partnerships with Bad Boy Records now scrubbed those associations from their websites. Artists who had built careers on his mentorship suddenly found reasons to emphasize their independence. But perhaps no one capitalized on the moment more effectively than 50 Cent, who had been warning about Diddy for years and now found himself validated in the court of public opinion. 50 Cent had been working on a documentary about Diddy's alleged crimes, long before the federal charges made headlines. For years, he had been dropping hints on social media, suggesting he knew things the public didn't, building anticipation for a project that many dismissed as mere trolling. When Netflix released Sean Combs' The Reckoning on December 2nd, 2025, it detailed Diddy's scandals and conviction, providing a comprehensive examination of the allegations that had brought down one of hip-hop's most powerful figures. The documentary was meticulously crafted, featuring interviews with alleged victims and former associates. The doc's success boosted 50's profile, positioning him as someone who had seen through the industry's facade when others remained willfully blind. His credibility soared even as questions emerged about his next target, Jay-Z's. Longtime friendship with Diddy fueled speculation and memes, amplified by 50's posts. Every photo of them together, every collaboration, every shared stage appearance was now examined through a new lens by internet detectives and gossip blogs alike. The question hanging over everything was simple but devastating. What did Jay-Z know, and when did he know it? Even if the answer was nothing, the mere asking of the question was damaging to an image built on intelligence and awareness of his surroundings. 50 Cent wasted no time pivoting his attention. In late November 2025, 50 posted a deepfake video of Jay-Z's face on Lionel Richie's body, implying Jay-Z was relieved at not being featured in the documentary. The trolling intensified in the following days. On December 8th and 9th, 2025, 50 shared a highly offensive caricature of Jay-Z exaggerated to resemble the old Camel Cigarettes mascot, captioning it, "Please stop sending me stuff like this, I'm not gonna post it." 50 Cent liked a fan comment saying, "Jay-Z is next, isn't he?" sparking sparking widespread speculation about Jay-Z facing similar scandals. Then came the lawsuit that changed everything. A 2024 civil lawsuit initially against Diddy was amended to accuse both him and Jay-Z of assaulting a minor at a 2000 VMAs after party. The allegations were explosive. A Jane Doe claimed that at age 13, she had been lured to an after party and assaulted by both moguls. The claim connected to one of the most documented nights in music history, adding a veneer of specificity to accusations that would normally seem too outlandish to believe. The timing of the amendments, coming in December 2024 during the height of Diddy's legal troubles, transformed what had been a story about one mogul's downfall into something potentially much larger. The 2000 MTV Video Music Awards took place on September 7, 2000 at Radio City Music Hall, with multiple after-parties attended by numerous celebrities. The 2000 VMAs represented a peak moment in turn of the millennium pop culture, when hip-hop's dominance of the mainstream was becoming undeniable. High-profile guests included Diddy, Jay-Z, Jennifer Lopez, Aaliyah, Britney Spears, Eminem, and Dr. Dre. The presence of so many witnesses, and the absence of any contemporaneous reports of wrongdoing, would become central to Jay-Z's defense. The accuser alleged a limousine driver told her she fit what Diddy was looking for and invited her to an after-party. There, she allegedly signed an NDA, was given a drink that made her feel woozy, and was then assaulted. She said she escaped and fled to a gas station to call her father. Jay-Z's response was immediate and unequivocal. He issued a statement via Roc Nation calling the allegations idiotic and heinous. He urged the accuser to file criminal charges instead of a civil suit, implying there was no evidence for prosecution. He refused any settlement with characteristic defiance. "I will not give you one red penny." He described it as blackmail, and revealed he had preemptively sued the accuser's attorney, Tony Busby, for extortion. The aggressive response was vintage Jay-Z, meeting accusations head-on with legal force rather than attempting to quietly settle and make the problem disappear. Led by attorney Alex Spiro, Jay-Z's team filed multiple motions to dismiss, arguing factual inconsistencies including timeline impossibilities and wrong party location descriptions. The lawsuit was voluntarily dismissed with prejudice in February 2025, meaning it cannot be refiled. Jay-Z called it a victory, stating the allegations were frivolous, fictitious, and appalling. But Jay-Z didn't stop at winning the lawsuit. He pursued counter-legal action, including defamation suits against the accuser and attorney Tony Busby, citing evidence like a recorded conversation where the accuser allegedly admitted Jay-Z had nothing to do with the assault. However, a California judge dismissed the extortion claims against Busby in July 2025 under California's anti-SLAPP statute. Meanwhile, another legal matter added to Jay-Z's challenges. Rymir Satterthwaite has been pursuing paternity claims, alleging Jay-Z is his father since he was 19. The case dated back to an alleged 1990s relationship between Jay-Z and Satterthwaite's mother. Multiple lawsuits for paternity tests and damages were filed over the years, each one dismissed but followed by new filings. A judge reportedly allowed the paternity claim to proceed, giving Jay-Z until July 18th to respond. The timing coincided with the aftermath of the Diddy-related allegations, creating a perfect storm of legal and public relations challenges. Rumors suggested 50 Cent may be featuring the individual in an upcoming documentary, keeping the pressure on Jay-Z while positioning 50 Cent as someone willing to give voice to those the industry had allegedly silenced. The convergence of these legal battles, the dismissed assault allegations, the ongoing paternity claims, and the shadow of Diddy's conviction created unprecedented pressure on Jay-Z's carefully constructed public image. For decades, he had positioned himself as hip-hop's model citizen, the rapper who evolved into a businessman, the mogul who married a global icon and built a family that represented black excellence. Now, that image was under assault from multiple directions, and his strategy of silence was being tested as never before. Thanks for watching. Check out other cards on the screen.